The first inhabitants of the Americas are blacks. This is a scene from the Yamasee Wars, and as I mentioned in previous videos, these are blacks with a red flag, but this is in the Carolinas. And here we have Lucia. She was found 12,000 years ago. Though her remains were in Brazil, early Americans resemble her. And then we have the Bonaparte mural. This is Mexico amongst the Mayans, but they are clearly black and they clearly have dreads. But following the Civil War, Indian tribes who allied with the Confederacy voided all previous treaties and started over with the Treaty of 1866. This is Article 9, and I want to highlight the fact that both free people of color and freedmen both gained citizenship in the tribe and tribal rights. The Cherokee were the largest holders of slaves, which revolted, and the Cherokee then made the free blacks, who kind of led it, move away from the tribe. But by 1922, John Swanson noted that half of the tribe were blacks. These blacks, from all treaties of 1866, because all 5 civilized tribes had one, have a right to self-determination or self-government. The UN also passed a resolution for indigenous people. The article said, most of the articles say that indigenous people have a right to self-determination, and on the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15 says everyone has a right to a nationality. The U.S. is a party to the resolution, but allows blacks' treaty rights to be violated. The Cherokee Nation, for an example, expelled blacks who they didn't think had native blood when the original natives was black. But 3,500 of these in this trial could be affected, thousands and maybe even millions if we knew our identity. But Obama accepted the resolution for indigenous people, but only the Mongoloids will get the protection. We can tell it's only for the Mongoloid types because Mr. Obama, after supporting the resolution, only invited the federally recognized tribes, which contradicts the right to self-determination. He talks about action but continues to discriminate and allows tribes to discriminate against blacks. This is from the State Department press release on the UN Resolution on Indigenous Rights. They quickly told us that it's not legally binding, but the UN War Resolution is. Just ask Gaddafi. But the administration said few have been more marginalized and ignored than the Native American. Now let's jump to this new movement going on. The U.S. is suing for restroom uses for gender politics. People who don't identify by their birth genders have more protections than blacks. The AG is suing to allow men in women restroom and women in men restroom. She called it state-sponsored discrimination tonight. Both Obama and her have linked this to the civil rights movement, Jim Crow, and even slavery. The truth is, blacks' identities were stolen, and they're using this gender politics as a distraction. We need political identity, not gender identity.
And as you know, in April, we announced that we were reviewing our position on the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And today I can announce that the United States is lending its support to this declaration. The aspirations it affirms, including the respect for the institutions and rich cultures of Native peoples, are one we must always seek to fulfill. And we're releasing a more detailed statement about U.S. support for the Declaration and our ongoing work in Indian country. But I want to be clear. What matters far more than words, what matters far more than any resolution or declaration, are actions to match those words. And that's what this conference is about. That's what this conference is about. That's the standard I expect my administration to be held to. So we're making progress. We're moving forward. And what I hope is that we are seeing a turning point in the relationship between our nations. The truth is, for a long time, Native Americans were implicitly told that they had a choice to make. By virtue of the long-standing failure to tackle wrenching problems in Indian country, it seemed as though you had to either abandon your heritage or accept a lesser lot in life. That there was no way to be a successful part of America and a proud Native American. But we know this is a false choice. To accept it is to believe that we can't and won't do better. And I don't accept that. I know there's not a single person in this room who accepts that either. We know that ultimately this is not just a matter of legislation, not just a matter of policy. It's a matter of whether we're going to live up to our basic values. It's a matter of upholding an ideal that has always defined who we are as Americans. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. That's why we're here. That's what we're called to do, and I'm confident that if we keep up our efforts, that if we continue to work together, that we will live up to this simple motto and we will achieve a brighter future for the first Americans and for all Americans. So thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.